Well, good morning. Welcome to American Reversion. How are you all today besides cold? It's 8 below where I am here, and it's going to get up to a balmy 1 degree, I think, later. So looking forward to that. It is the day of the Iowa caucuses. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be brutal up there weather-wise. And we'll see if that affects turnout. Or the caucuses are an unusual thing. I'll hold off. We'll talk about the caucuses after I talk about a few um, news items here. And by the way, if I could ask, welcome to all the new people, by the way. I see that the channel is growing, and that is great to see. If I could ask everyone, would you make sure that you're subscribed? I've had people, well, I know they're jacking with the channel. They're going to be jacking with channels like this. Well, I was going to say through the whole election year, but probably forever. And we need to combat it. If you'd help me, I'd appreciate it. I have had people tell me that they have been unsubscribed from my channel 10 times. I've had people say that they were unsubscribed twice in an hour. I've had people tell me that they have to resubscribe every time they want to watch one of my videos. I don't know what's going on. I just know that it's going on. And if you wouldn't mind, make sure you're subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up if you would. They tell me that helps. Leave a comment if you would. They tell me that helps too. I don't, whether it's just a thumbs up or yeah, I agree, Steve, or a book, I don't care. Leave a comment and it helps. And also, finally, would you share this video? We are living in interesting times. And the purpose of this channel, and people says, why are you wearing the Trump hat? Because, I'll get into that later, but this is not a news channel. This is an opinion channel. This is a political channel. This is a channel in which I talk about what I think is wrong with this country, what happened, and how we might be able to set it right, what we need to do to try to do that, if we can. We hope we can, right? We hope we can, because if we can't, the alternative is not something we want to think about. I've had people ask me, let me finish that before I get to my lanterns back here. So if you would share this, because the way that we fight back is to influence people, to influence those people who are uninformed. All of our elections are determined by the uninformed. And if you see the way our country is going, that's pretty plain, isn't it? It's being run by uninformed people. Well, there are going to be people who understand, who know and vote the right way for freedom and liberty and the American way, and then there are the others who are communists and they vote Democrat. And then in between is a whole bunch of people, the squishy middle, who says, well, I don't know, the ones who the night before an election, when they're asked on some news show, who are you going to vote for? They say, well, I haven't decided yet. And they look very thoughtful. They say, I haven't decided. I'm just waiting for someone to say something that will really grab me. Idiots. Idiot. All of these people have a long history. Look at their history and look at the line of their history, and you're going to see where they're headed. Not what they say, but what they do. And so we have this big squishy middle, okay, that we need to influence, because they are the ones that determine elections. And the purpose for this channel, the purpose of this channel, is to try to help in doing that by putting out information. And that's one of the reasons that I read some of the news items of the day. You can share these, and did I ask you to please share this video with as many people as you can? You can share these with other people who maybe, if they're not as informed as you, they're just busy doing other things. It might help. They go, oh, wow, I didn't know that. How stupid is that? It will help inform them, and if they're good folks, it's going to help them vote the right way, and that's what we want to do. Right? And as always, when I put this one up over on the Patreon channel, I will put the links to all of the articles that I read from on here, so that you can read them, the whole article yourself, because usually I don't read the whole article. And all you can share those links with anybody else. And yes, you can share anything that I put on Patreon as well. And join us if you're not on Patreon. That link is down below. I put a lot of stuff on Patreon that never shows up on the YouTube channel, and you'll get a lot of it, and you'll enjoy it. Back to the lanterns behind me, I was going to say I've had a lot of people ask me and compliment those lanterns behind me. They were made for me and sent to me some time ago by one of our patrons, He's over on the Integrative Preparedness Patreon channel, but also here. And he doesn't comment much, but anymore. But his name was, well, his handle was Hondo Bob, and they're just beautiful. And of course, you're familiar with the one if by land and two if by sea, right? And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm for the country folk to be up and to arm. Surprised you didn't I? I had to memorize that whole poem, Paul Revere's Ride, or The Ride of Paul Revere, I forget which. I know the poem, but I've forgotten the titles. Back in the 4th grade, I had to memorize that whole poem, and what a great poem. I love it. But boy, this is, I should probably have 3 lanterns because they're coming at us from both land and sea, right? So I should have 1 over here and 2 over here, or whichever. Okay, let's get to the news of the day. This isn't all the news. These are a few things that are going to give you, you might not know about, you might know about. We'll talk about them a little bit. But they just reinforce why it's important to take this country back. And there will be things that you can share with other people, or if you don't know, you can think about them yourselves and get incensed and mad enough to do something about it. The first off, are you a baker? Well, if you're white, sucks to be you. King Arthur Flour is holding a No White People Allowed POC, stands for People of Color, POC only baking competition from January 2nd through February 10th. And let me go up and read, because I had scrolled down here for a moment. Let me see if this is okay. King Arthur Baking, a Vermont-based company, faced criticism for hosting a baking competition that excluded white contestants, aiming to support people of color entrepreneurs. The contest, called the Baking Pitch Fest 2024, offered financial support, brand exposure, and mentorship to winners with specific categories limited to person of color-led businesses. The use of the term POC was defined by the company to include various racial and ethnic groups, meaning excluding whites. Did you know that as whites we are also ethnic? You didn't know that, did you? How sad is this? How infuriating it is, but how sad it is. Only, competent people, normal people, don't see things through a lens of racial or religious or, whether somebody is right-handed, left-handed, whether they like their eggs scrambled or fried. We don't see people through that lens. We see people as people. None of my people of color friends see themselves through a lens of people of color. They see themselves as people. As do I, as do you. It's only the people who view themselves as victims, or people who can make money from people who view themselves as victims, or people who want a virtue signal and therefore feel like they can make money by appealing to people who see themselves as victims, like King Arthur Flour. Only those see people through the pock-colored glasses. And by doing that, you see, when people do that, they assure their own failure, because they assume that they can't play on a level field. Okay, and they've been made to think that. Now many have broken out of that and said, "Well, the heck with that! I'm not going to tell you I can't play on a level field. I can, and they do, and they are successful." But for that, those millions of people who would rather see themselves as victims, this appeals to them. Okay. Oh, they care. They see me as a victim. How much easier it is to be a victim than to actually put in the work to accomplish something, right? It says here, King Arthur Flour explained the term POC, or people of color, is defined as Asian or Pacific Islander. Well, that's funny. Asian. Did you know? Asians are the super achievers, right? They make the best grades in school, in college. They have a disproportionate number of STEM degrees and such. Doctors, engineers, scientists, mathematicians, all the STEM things, right? Their IQ is the highest. It's higher than whites. Did you know that? Yeah, I mean, Northeastern Asians, not all Asians, not Southwest Asians, but yes, yeah, but they are included in this. Asian or Pacific Islander. See, what they're doing is, you all who are really the top, come down here and identify with the victims. Black or African American. There are no, unless somebody came from Africa, there are no African Americans. Unless somebody came from Africa and became a citizen, there are no African Americans. Okay, simple as that. They didn't come from Africa. And so what's the difference there? Black or, it's all how they identify, but that allows them to include more people. Hispanic or Latinx. Is that how you say it? Latinx, or is it Latinx? I don't know, but I know that most of them, regardless of how you pronounce it, don't like it. Indigenous or Native American, and what does that mean? I'm Native American. I was born here. Indigenous? Okay, that's closer. First Nations, whatever. Middle Eastern or North African. Middle Eastern, huh? They got everybody in there. They got about everybody in there that they can get to exclude white people. How does that make you all feel? It has gotten to the point to where it's so ludicrous. I no longer get angry. I mean, 20 years ago when I saw this stuff coming, it would make you mad. Now, it just shows how ridiculous these people are. Doesn't mean they don't need to be fought against. They do. They need to be slam dunked on this stuff, which is what happened here. The competition was taken down after inquiries. So see, we won that one. We won that, and we are. Who was that teacher? The president of Harvard, and a couple of other schools. You see, there is pushback. There is politics, and the pushback from people like us is taking its toll on these people. This event reflects a broader trend of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives facing backlash for perceived discriminatory practice. What do you mean perceived discriminatory practices? It is discriminatory practices, you liberal morons. Okay, let's move on to, let me see, I had some, let's see. Oh yeah, here's a good one. You guys will like this one. Maine, the state of Maine, builds new rent-free apartments for migrants paid by state's taxpayers. This fits right in. What was it? Was it New York that's making the kids stay home from school and do virtual schooling so that illegal immigrants can go to school? I mean, what has happened to this country? Might this be a time? Did I tell you that I was drinking today out of my rebellion to tyrants as obedience to God mug? American Reversion. Let me take a sip. This is available, as you know, through our website, not our website, stonemont.us website. We're working on the American Reversion website. But this is it. And then an excerpt from the Declaration of Independence on the back, Thomas Jefferson. Our second one to come out was One Nation Under God, with a picture of Washington saying his famous prayer at Valley Forge. And on the back, I'll read you what this is from Washington's General Orders, 1779. It says, "Whereas it becomes us humbly to approach the throne of Almighty God with gratitude and praise for the wonders which His goodness has wrought in conducting our forefathers to this western world, and above all, that He hath diffused the glorious light of the gospel, whereby through the merits of our gracious Redeemer we may become the heirs of His eternal glory." I love that one. But there's another one. I don't know which of these is my favorite. This is hanging together. This is a picture of the signing of the Declaration, and on the back it carries Benjamin Franklin's statement about we must hang together or we most assuredly will hang separately. And these mugs have just come out beautifully, and they are flying off the shelves. I've already had to order a large number of mug blanks, because we do the printing in-house, and they are beautiful. And we'll get them out there to you. Okay, so let's get back to this. Maine's taxpayers are footing the bill for new apartments, not repurposed, not half of the decrepit stuff that's being fixed up. New apartments built specifically for newly arrived border crossers and illegal aliens who will have at least 2 years' worth of rent paid for. Paid for by whom? Uncle Sugar? Uncle Sugar doesn't have any money he didn't take from you first. How about, let me read that again. Maine's taxpayers are footing, it's not just Maine. It's not Maine's taxpayers. I don't care where you live. Texas taxpayers, Montana taxpayers, Kansas taxpayers are footing the bill. Because, you know, this is federal money, right? So they're making this sound like it's Maine's problem. It's not. It's our problem. Maine's taxpayers, American taxpayers, are footing the bill for new apartments built specifically for newly arrived border crossers and illegal aliens, lawbreakers, okay, who will have at least, and who wants to bet it'll go more than 2 years? 2 years worth of rent paid for. This is in addition to all the other money that they get. And the health insurance. The health care that's provided for them. This week, it says, I'll read just a portion here. This week, Maine officials in Brunswick unveiled new apartments that will go to border crossers and illegal aliens who will have their rent paid for at least 2 years. News Center Maine reports. On Monday, dozens of people gathered at Brunswick Landing to celebrate 60 new apartment units going up in 5 buildings. 24 of them are already complete. These units are designed to house asylum seekers as they wait to receive work permits. That process can often take a while, since asylum seekers can't even file for a permit until at least 6 months after filing their initial asylum applications. They shouldn't be in this country until their asylum their asylum applications have been approved. They should be in their country of origin, or at least Mexico. Okay. Okay, let's see. This is excellent. This is also good news. This program is happening through the Maine State Housing Authority. Read federal money, your money. Maine Housing will essentially pay the rent for these asylum seekers for up to 2 years. After that, they will be converted to a mix of market rate and affordable housing. Unless, what did I say? The state says the program needs to be extended. This will be up on the Patreon page for you to send to your friends. Now it gets better. It gets better. One of our people on the Patreon channel said pretty soon they're going to be making people take illegal aliens into their homes. Well, and I said it's already started. The state of Massachusetts is asking private homes. This is a Breitbart article by Warner Todd Huston. The state of Massachusetts is asking private homeowners to take in illegal aliens as the state runs out of room to house the thousands of border crossers who are still flooding into the Bay State. Oh God! Oh man! This is state suicide. These people, I don't mind. I do mind for the good people who live in these places like Massachusetts and New York and New Jersey and California and Minnesota and Michigan, all of these places, these beautiful places that have been turned into commie hellholes by commies. I feel for you good people living there, but this is suicide. It is state suicide. Let me explain. Massachusetts is the only state that has a statewide right to housing rule for homeless families. And with that rule in mind, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, Democrat, big surprise, who's surprised, has repeatedly asked legal residents to open up their homes to illegal immigrants for whom officials are having a hard time finding beds. Oh, go. Oh my gosh. Why do you think that happened? Could the border have anything to do with it? And while we're talking about the border, hey, good for you, Texas. And good for you, Greg Abbott. I know there's a lot of people down in Texas that don't like Abbott. I don't know enough about the internals of Texas politics to have an opinion on that, but I'll tell you one thing. I like the fact that he has sent the Texas National Guard through the Texas Military Department or Department of the Military down to secure the border and to keep the Border Patrol away from the border. Now, why would we want to keep the Border Patrol away from the border? I mean, I thought we wanted the Border Patrol there on the border because they are supposed to enforce the border laws, right? They're supposed to keep us safe, keep that border secured. Well, no, it's the Border Patrol that has been cutting the wire and helping illegal aliens enter our country. Guys, if you are on the Border Patrol, I say this as a brother, I do. You might be a person of honor, in which case, what does your honor dictate you do? Let me just put it that way, okay? I left law enforcement when I saw that it was corrupt, and I felt that staying in it that I was supporting a corrupt system, and I refused to do it. You have to make your decisions. You have to make your decisions, you know. Hey, quit the Border Patrol and join the Texas DPS, Department of Public Safety. Do something. Do what's right. But our federal government has assisted in the invasion of the United States. That's no surprise. We all know that. And Texas is doing something about it. And yes, this could lead to a secession or to a big problem among the states and between the states, but mainly between the states and the federal government. That's how that biggie back in the 1800s started. Do you all remember that one? That's how it started. Okay. I know they'll tell you it was about slavery. Okay, if you want to believe that. If you want the truth, study yourself. I write about that in my books. So there we've got a few there. This is your daily assignment. Go out there and talk about this to your friends around the water cooler or work. Do they have water coolers anymore? That's just an old saying, right? The water cooler talk. Around the coffee pot, around whatever. It's your way. You can go out there and share these things and affect these people who just don't know. I don't know what to do, they say. I'm confused. I'm not sure who to vote for. Nobody has really pulled me in. Well, how about take a look at this and see which side is promoting this and which is fighting against it. And if that doesn't make your decision clear, I don't know what is. Maybe you need to go back to being afraid of the 10-foot Nephilim wandering around Miami. Okay, now, the Iowa caucuses. Caucuses are interesting things. It's not a primary, it's a caucus. And even though it's not a primary, it's long being seen as kind of a bellwether for what's going to happen in the rest of the... Let's see how much time I've got here. Oh, man. Okay, I got a couple of minutes. I didn't mean to block your view, but the sun was glaring on where I see how much time I've got. So a caucus is where a bunch of people get together. Could be a restaurant, a school, or somebody's house. And they talk about things, and they talk about, well, here's what I like Trump, I like Ramaswamy, I like, does anybody still like, well, Christie's not, the whale isn't in it anymore. Good, I said he wouldn't be. Does anybody still like DeSantis? He ruined his, I said long ago, he will never be anything now. Does anybody like Nikki Haley? I don't know. I'm sure there will be some in the crowd that will say, well, I think that, you know. So this is where they discuss. And then as a result of that, they come out with some kind of conglomerate idea of who had the most support. And they will support that. Iowa being the first one of these where we kind of get a national glimpse of how people are feeling about the candidates. It really shows it shows quite a bit. It may not be exactly, what a primary is, because there'll be, and there's always this concern. There's what's called Republicans for a day. There will be a lot of Democrats that try to infiltrate these caucus, whatever. They go in cockeyed. And they'll infiltrate. They'll say, "Well, I'm a Republican," and they'll get in there and they'll try to change. It's politics. All right, politics is a dirty business, but you can't leave it up to the enemy. Okay, so we will see. I fully expect Trump will run away with it. He will show his strength. Hopefully, a couple of people will drop out, seeing the truth of the matter. I mean, right now everybody knows they're running for number 2 spot, or and that's a good thing to call them number 2s, right? All you number 2s out there, they're either vying for that or simply national attention, or they want to stay in the race to so that they can raise more money, which they'll stick in their pockets, or save or distribute to their friends or buy favors or whatever. Politics, it's about control, it's about money. And it's about ego. But, forevermore, these people will be introduced, kind of like Huckabee. They can go out and make commercials and they'll be introduced as former presidential candidate. Humorous, isn't it? I mean, gee, man, Christmas. People, they want the celebrity. Okay. So we will see what comes out of there, but whether they're running for number 2, or for whatever reason to keep being able to deliver their message, or just a position in the Trump administration, I see Ramaswamy doing that, right? It's I won't talk about him now. I've mentioned him before. Everybody has different opinions about that. So we will see. And in the past, usually when somebody has done very poorly in the Iowa caucus, they'll drop out. We'll see what happens here. I don't see DeSantis dropping out. I don't see Nikki Haley dropping out, regardless of how badly they do, because both of them think that they're anointed. They've been made to think they're anointed. DeSantis, he was doing well. He had a good career going for him because Trump supported him. And when he stabbed Trump in the back, that's what showed everybody what kind of guy he was. Regardless of what his policies were, that showed what kind of guy he is. So we will see. It's going to be an interesting night. Glad I don't have to go out in negative whatever it's going to be in Iowa. You guys, you ever been in Iowa? I tell you, it's one of the coldest places I've ever been, especially when there's a breeze. There is a breeze. And some of those breezes get up about 30, 40 mile an hour, and that makes 8 below feel chilly. So let's see what happens, okay? That's the news for today. Remember to go over, if you're with us on Patreon, and if you're not, please join. It helps support the channel, but you'll also get a lot more. I put a lot of stuff over there that you'll enjoy and that will inform you. And we have to be informed as we fight this fight in the year coming up. And as you'll notice, as I said yesterday, I no longer title these videos. I'm just going to put the date there because there's no way for me to title, give a title. And I don't want to give some clickbait, ridiculous, it's horrible, it's terrible, it's, that kind of stuff. So please, make sure you're subscribed. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share this. If you're with us on Patreon, those things, the articles will be there for you to be able to bring up the entire article and share them with your friends. That's going to help. That's where the fight is. The fight is political. The solution is going to be political. If we ever reach the time to where we are convinced that the political fight can't be won, we will have reached a point that none of us want to go. I mean, we'll be there, but we won't want to be there, right? Okay. You all have a good day. Get out in there and fight for it. And right now, the fight means talking, means sharing information, means discussing, meaning winning people over to our side in an American reversion. And one more time, hey, the mugs are up there. This gives you an opportunity. So, rebellion to tyrants. And I will promote these. One nation under God. I don't care if somebody says, you just want to sell your mugs. Well, I'll tell you what I want, because I don't make much off of these. Okay. And hang together or hang separately. What I want is for these to get out there in as many hands as possible and become items that will start conversations that you will enjoy drinking your morning or evening coffee or whatever you get out of it. Oh, battery low. I better get out of here. And we'll start conversations. Buy one for yourself. Buy a dozen. Buy some to send friends. Get the word out there and use them. Have a good day. It's going to be a day to watch, I think. And I'll watch those Iowa caucuses tonight. And we'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about what's going on there. Y'all have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.